Hey there guys, how are you? Welcome back to another awesome video. It's time for another TV show review. And today's TV show review is going to be of Hawkeye Season 1. So Hawkeye Season 1 takes place during the events of after Avengers Endgame. And we have Hawkeye, Clint Barton, he just wants to celebrate the holidays with his family and be together with his family. And he gets wrapped up in this auction situation with this girl named Kate Bishop who actually so happens to idolize Hawkeye and some underground criminal organization, and the two of them work together to find out what's underneath the surface. So I don't remember who the director or directors were of this show, because with the Mandalorian TV show and with the Marvel TV shows on Disney Plus so far, it's either ranged from there has been either one main director that has directed all episodes, or there has been one individual director for each individual episode. So I have no idea if Hawkeye was one director or multiple directors. But however, this is going to be talking about all things about season 1 of Hawkeye. So if you haven't seen it already, there's going to be a spoiler warning, because we're going to talk about a pretty big and a pretty major spoiler about this show. So you have been warned. Anyways, let's continue. I didn't think this show was going to be as amazing as it is, because when I first heard of this idea, the idea of Clint Barton passing down the torch, passing down the mantle to the next Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, I was like, okay, this seems like this could be fun, this could be really cool, but this took me by surprise. With Jeremy Renner and Haley Steinfeld are fantastic. They're great as the characters. Jeremy Renner has really proven himself a lot through the course of the MCU, really proves himself a ton in this show, because what's excellent about the show that I think is really gravitates the most compared to, say, WandaVision or Loki or Falcon and Winter Soldier is it has this sort of small groundness to it. That it just is this one guy or this one guy and this girl that don't have any powers, don't have any technology whatsoever other than just their combat skills and their bows and arrows. And I think that's what's so practical about the show and what's so almost feels a little slightly grounded. But I think it's fantastic. Again, Haley Steinfeld is fantastic, and the two of them do a great job carrying the show on their shoulders with the dynamic they share together and how they bounce off each other, the chemistry, how that works. Especially when the first 2 episodes, I know for some people, the first 2 episodes aren't really the best, aren't really the strongest, but I feel like the first 2 episodes are very solid, they're very good, and very excellent. But by episode 3, it really picks up and it really hits, because that's when we get into Maya with Echo, who will soon be Echo, let's say, with Maya, with how phenomenal a character she is. I forgot the actress's name, but she's fantastic in the role and gives this character and gives this villain you feel a bit of sympathy almost towards her. And Florence Pugh returns, and she's fantastic. She's phenomenal returning as Yelena, adding another layer to the story, especially when it becomes more emotional, it becomes more personal, because she thinks that Clint Barton had something to do with her sister's murder, and thinking that Hawkeye, or in this case, the Ronin, murdered Black Widow, which that's a big thing, and almost the center of it all is that there's a lot going on about the Ronin and Clint Barton trying to basically burn old past demons. And on a side note, it seems like Florence Pugh is just having a fun time in this show, which is how she is, especially when she interacts with Kate Bishop. But let's talk about the big man himself. And I mean literally the big man himself. This was the best thing, and this is where the show, not only the show as a whole is great, but once you brought in the big guns, you made the show just 10 times as extraordinary. And to see none other than Vincent D'Onofrio back as the Kingpin himself was so awesome. It's so fantastic. This means that they've confirmed that the Daredevil Netflix characters do exist in the MCU, and that Kingpin does exist in the MCU. It was so awesome. It was very clever how they did this. And Vincent D'Onofrio was just so awesome to see. And without spoiling anything else for other Marvel properties, yes, it does confirm other characters that show up in other movies and other shows and other appearances that we will see in the future. And it just opens up the floodgate, honestly. Overall, this was a fantastic Marvel series, a very fun, Christmas series too, because again, this is around Christmas time, same time around a certain other movie that's going on, but still, the point is that this is a great Christmas show to have. It has this sort of die-hard feel to it at some points with how practical it is. The idea of this guy, this girl, one human being or two human beings with no powers whatsoever, just relying on their own skills, their own wit, and their own things that are at their own possessions is great. Now, does this show have some problems? Yeah, and I wish I could probably give this show a pass, but there are some things I kind of was a little like iffy about, and there are some problems that you might not have thought of or expected. But real quick, I want to address the elephant in the room that, yeah, I know about, oh my gosh, they killed Kingpin off, but I don't think so just yet. At first, when that gunshot go off, I thought, are you serious? We just had Kingpin in the show. We just had Vincent D'Onofrio come back. Now you're going to get rid of him? But I feel that there's going to be something more, something bigger that's going to happen with Kingpin. And I feel like we're going to see him in more stuff down the line. But we'll talk about that another time. But that's not the problems I have with the show. One of the small problems I kind of have with the show, which I don't know if this is considered a problem, but it's somewhat of a nitpick, is before the show was finished with production, I know the actor, I think his name was Fra Free, the actor who plays Kazi in this show a while back, months ago, probably a year or two ago, posted or tweeted a photo of him on his Instagram or on his social media wearing clown makeup. And people were speculating that is he supposed to be playing Clown, who was a Marvel character associated in the comics with Clint Barton's circus background a little bit. And were we going to go into Clint Barton's circus background and all sorts of things like that with Clown? And there's that Jack guy in the show who could possibly perhaps be Swordsman in the future. So that was teased, but it was mainly that Kazi Clown picture. And people were saying that was for Hawkeye. And we never see Kazi become this clown character at all throughout the show, because I was thinking to myself, is he going to become this clown guy at the end of the series or the end of the season? Nope, he's dead. I mean, they could do the same thing they could be doing with Fisk, but he's flat out killed. So it's like, okay, then what was the point of that photo? So I guess that's sort of a slight nitpick. That and that whole thing that we saw with Val, that post-credit scene in Black Widow with Val, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who shows up to see Yelena by Natasha's tombstone and doing this whole thing about, hey, you know, I know someone that might have killed your sister, and shows the picture of Ronan, totally goes basically nowhere. Because throughout this season, I thought to myself, since they had said that Wilson Fisk has Eleanor, Kate Bishop's mom, under his wing, under his boot, and she hired Yelena to go after Clint / Hawkeye / Ronan, there's no mention of Val, who was the actual original person to have basically told Yelena about Ronan in the first place. I thought to myself, is Val going to be an associate of Wilson Fisk, or is she going to be her own solo act? And I felt like that was maybe a missed opportunity to have Val maybe work for Fisk, or maybe Fisk works for her, or something where they might have maybe shared notes or shared advice with each other, or shared some sort of like an agreement to hire Yelena to go after Clint Barton in the first place, which I think would have made sense. But maybe Val is kind of like that Nick Fury character, where she's just a solo act and she has her own organization going on with her and with John Walker. But we'll see what happens. But again, I feel that was kind of a missed opportunity. But still, I enjoyed a lot of Hawkeye. This might be surprising, but I think Hawkeye just might be my favorite MCU show so far. So I'm going to give Hawkeye, on a scale of 1 to 10, I am going to give it a 9 out of 10. So Hawkeye Season 1, have you guys seen it? What did you think of it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. And also let me know in the comments if you guys know if Season 2 is going to be happening, because I really don't know if there will be a Season 2 or if there won't be a Season 2. I would be open to the idea of a Season 2. I wouldn't mind seeing a Season 2 for Hawkeye. But it seems like it has a nice bow on it that they could say this was just a season 1 thing and a one-off thing like WandaVision. But we'll see what happens for the future of Hawkeye. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please smash that like button. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I do awesome videos every day, every week. Make sure you ring that bell. I do new videos every day, every week. Share the video with your friends, all that good stuff and more. Leave some suggestions in the comment section. You name it, I'll look into it. Also, if you guys have any questions for me, leave those in the comment section too, and I'll look into those and I'll use those for a future Q&A that we'll be getting into, hopefully. Look out for more TV show reviews, like for Chucky Season 1, Loki Season 1. Look out for more movies and more requests I will have in between. More gaming, more top 10s, more content coming your way this year, and all sorts of stuff that I will be... Anything that I had missed last year, that I didn't cover last year, will be covered this year. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.